Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Friday, January 8, 2021, the Press of Atlantic City, and the Star Ledger, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOVM News on Wednesday, January 6, 2021, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. The meeting dates have also been posted on the Township webpage. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Urick.
Here.
Councilman Kopp.
Here.
Councilman Lotano.
Here.
Councilman Roderick.
Here.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Present.
Council President Gagan.
Here.
First item on the agenda, the minutes of June 9th, 2021.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilwoman Urick.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Tonight we have with us for an honoring presentation the Toms River Veterans Commission.
Gentlemen, we need to come forward. Thank you.
May we have a motion?
Move the honoring resolutions and presentation.
Second.
Council Vice President,
Hang on one second while we do this.
Council Vice President Turnbach, Council President Turnbach? Councilman Turnbach.
I'm going to stay Councilman Turnback, and I'll vote yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
I don't know, maybe we should give him a raise. I vote yes.
Councilwoman Urick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes, I apologize for jumping the gun. Sir, thank you for coming here tonight. Go ahead, step up to the mic.
Thank you, and it's good to see former faces and focus on my back.
Well, you can turn that around.
I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
This way the
Thank you.
people at home can hear you as well.
How about if I do this?
That's fine.
Perfect.
I'd like to welcome you guys back and welcome us back to all the former faces and the new faces on the council. Thank you for your assistance last year with the memorial on Bay Avenue. That was a particularly, where's she at? Oh, there she is. Allison, she is just a super lady, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, she did an awesome job for us, and we thank you 100%.
My pleasure.
The reason we're here tonight is just to do just what I just did, say thank you, and to also tell you some of the things that we as your Veterans Council and Veterans Commission in Toms River is doing, and we like to continue to do. Last year, as you know, we did the Veterans Day Memorial at the site on Bay Avenue. We canceled the essay contest because of COVID, obviously, and we normally participate in the Sail Fest, and it's not a Toms River thing, but it's a collective Toms River thing, and we plan on doing that again this year. And we spoke with the mayor, and it seems at this point we definitely will be doing the Veterans Day Parade. That's Plan A. Obviously, Bay Avenue is Plan B. And with that, the essay contest has costs, and what we would like to do is get a budget commitment, because we've had it in the past and something happened here and there, but we'd like to get a budget commitment of $1,500, and normally we spend pretty close to that. So I know everything is going up, so we're anticipating that we may have to spend a little bit more. But when you look at what we attempt to do, versus what it would cost somebody else to do, you're getting the commission as a bargain. So I do have the numbers here, and I'd like to leave them with you, and hopefully, but I did hear a lot of yeses for everything else, so don't forget how to do that.
Okay.
Okay. So, where's my paper? Lynn, did I leave it there? Oh, and the members are with me. I have Lynn Mueller, Bob Larned, that guy back there, and Stan Mahan. So they're the members that are here supporting me tonight. But at this point, how do I get this?
You can hand that to Allison, the clerk. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time and your service.
Yeah. Council President, the veterans,
Thank you one and all. I'm going to sit down.
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Maruka? Yes.
The Veterans Commission has been really a
Fantastic.
beacon for our community. They have done so many events, they work with our veterans, they coordinate, they keep our school children involved through their essay contests, and I know previously we have always budgeted this through the clerk's office. Hopefully that practice will continue for this worthwhile organization, and the time and effort they put in just really makes us a better community. And the staff in the clerk's office, I think this is one of the pet projects I really enjoy working with, because the community members are so involved. It's nothing last minute. It's like they plan for the year and they're on top of it. And I know through Alice and Destiny, Stacy, and even the mayor's office, it has always been a highlight of our community. And hopefully they will continue funding and keep on their events that they keep on having.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, moving on. Item 7 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending Section 40-7B1 and 40-7B11 of the Township Code to revise the procedures governing the preparation and enforcement of bid specifications by the purchasing agent to conform the applicable provisions of the Faulkner Act. And this is a final reading.
Okay, this is the final reading. Does any member of the public have any comments?
Seeing none, I move to close the public comments portion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Lotano?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka?
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 8 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing various sections of Chapter 348, Land Use and Development Regulations of the Township Code in accordance with the consent order entered in United States of America v. Township of Toms River, Act Number 3:21-CV-04633, first reading.
This is the first reading, so there is no public comment on this. Public comments will be at the final reading 2 weeks from now. Council, your
Move
pleasure.
the ordinance on first.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Council Vice President Maruka. Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Latano?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
No.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 9, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending the redevelopment plan for the Phase 1 downtown waterfront redevelopment area. This is a first reading.
Again, this is the first reading. Comments will be 2 weeks from now at the final reading. Council, your pleasure.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, second by Councilman Kopp. Council Vice President Maruka?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Lotano?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
No.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 175-21B of the Township Code to establish non-resident daily fee rates for the township swimming pool.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second.
Motion made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Council Vice President Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Lotano?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Justin Lamb and I were invited to a community gathering in Snug Harbor, hosted by Denise Collins. The Snug Harbor residents had expressed concerns regarding happenings at the pool, public urination, changing in public, needles, all sorts of terrible things. Justin and I were deeply concerned about the residents and their neighborhood. They had said they had gone to the council and to the mayor last year, but nothing was done at that time. So I'm glad Mayor Hill has finally seen the light on this issue. That being said, I don't believe we've gone far enough. Placing a Class 2 officer on site would go a long way in reassuring residents that we have their back, and that their safety and their neighborhood is our top priority. Additionally, we should plant some trees along the front of the parking lot to serve as a buffer for residents in the neighborhood, and I'm calling on members of council to allocate funds to do so. We should also explore rerouting traffic, potentially through Caddis Island. I've been in touch with Freeholder Vicari. There is a dirt road already in place, but I guess we'd have to look at the flooding and whether or not that is a wetland. But certainly would present an alternative as far as getting into the neighborhood is concerned. So I support this, but again, I don't think we're going far enough for these folks, but this is a good start. I vote yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council President Gagan?
First of all, last year I don't recall any of the residents coming here, but we certainly heard them loud and clear recently. Ordinance and fee changes, they're up to the council in this form of government, unfortunately not the mayor. Councilman Latano and I had met with some residents also this weekend. Were invited into their home. They expressed, a couple issues. We told them that their voices were not gone unheard, even though they had heard from somebody else that nothing was going to be done. But we had a lot of time during the week to discuss this. Mr. Merlino drafted the ordinance, did the research on it, and we met with them. In a week's time, this is prepared and is on our agenda for tonight's meeting. So I vote yes.
Item 11 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, establishing a special advisory committee to explore the issue of recreational cannabis.
I'd like to make a motion to table, and it's come to my attention that this was reported in the patch as to having been discussed and decided in executive session. Council President Gagan told Karen Wall who would be on this committee. It's a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. It's not privileged discussion, and it shouldn't be done behind closed doors. It's an illegal act. It taints the entire process. I was never asked to be on this committee, and I won't serve on this committee. My opinion on the matter will not change. I believe we need to ban recreational marijuana, and I respectfully ask that this be tabled, as it was obviously not decided in an appropriate setting, and you had a quorum, and it's right there in the patch.
The patch is wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a second on Councilman Roderick's motion? Being no second, the motion dies. Council, your pleasure with item 11?
I'd like to move the resolution, and I'd also like to correct the patch, apparently. The patch, if they reported that this was determined in an executive session, they are incorrect. We actually had a meeting of the Land Use Committee where you can request Oprah if you'd like. It was the third Tuesday of every month, as it is every month. And it was this past month that we determined who should be on the committee at that meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to move the resolution.
Second.
Was there a second? Councilman Latano.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Lotano?
I would just like to say that Councilwoman Hurick has tried to put together a group of people for the committee that are both pro and con. We want to hear from the residents, which is why it was suggested that Councilman Roderick was on the committee, because we do need a council representative and someone who is opposed to it. That is the reason why he was there, but I vote yes.
Councilman Kopp?
I need to abstain.
Councilman Roderick?
I would just like to ask Mr. Lotano, is he opposed to it? Are you opposed to recreational sales in Toms River?
So I'm up for hearing the residents, and I'm interested to hear what the committee comes up with.
So are you opposed, you're not opposed, you're undecided, you're saying?
I would like to hear from it. I'm not opposed to it, and I'm not in support of certain aspects of it, so I would like what is best for our town, and that's why we have the committee.
So you're saying you're in favor?
I think I just said clearly what I
Okay.
said.
Well, I'm not, and I believe that the residents may have voted in favor of legalizing marijuana statewide, but had they been asked whether or not we would put something like this in Toms River, whether we would sell recreational marijuana in Toms River, they would have voted very differently. And I feel if you really want to do this, you should put it on the ballot. We still have a little time left for that.
64% of Toms River voters
But they did
voted.
not, thank you, it's still my time, but they did not vote for recreational sales to occur in Toms River, where the cost of public safety will far exceed any kind of revenue generated by the sale. In order to generate $1 million in revenue, you would have to do $100 million in recreational marijuana sales. That's just not happening. That would be equivalent to that would be more than all residents pay in property taxes. Okay?
And
We
we
have-
can bring up certainly at the committee level.
Well, no, I just don't support it, so there's no reason. And other than this kind of childish behavior with you, if you wanted me to serve on the committee, you wouldn't have done it behind closed doors and threw it on an agenda like that. You would have asked me, but you didn't. Because this is an illegal act. I have text messages from Karen Wald that while she was asking me, I said to her, hey, when was this decided? She said, I have Kevin on the phone right now, and he said that it was done in an executive session that you didn't attend. I commented, it was published, and now you're saying that you did it at some other time. It's a violation of the Sunshine Law. So I vote no, I will not participate in your committee.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
I also am undecided on this total issue, but that's why we have a committee, if that's what the residents want, much like a dog park. Certainly, Councilman Roderick, you have all the numbers of whomever, if any laws were violated. Again, I'll drive you to those agencies, and feel free to report whatever. But I vote yes to this resolution.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
Okay, does any member of the council have any number they would like discussed or voted on separately? Does any member of the public wish any item to be discussed separately, or any questions on any items?
Seeing none, I move the balance, or the entire consent agenda.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yorick, seconded by Council Vice President Maruka, to move the entire consent agenda. Councilwoman Yorick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
We do not have any reports this meeting, so we move directly to the bills.
Move the bill list.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, second by Councilman Kopp. Councilman Turnbach.
Abstain from PO 21-3244, payable to the magistrates. Also abstain from PO 21-653, PO 21-2618, PO 21-03021, payable to office of Siddle, Apple, and Zabarski. Also abstain from PO 21-02965 and PO 21-03054, payable to office of Darcy McGuckin. I'm a local attorney in town. I've got conflicts with those. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kopp.
I abstain from the following: 21-03269, payable to the Board of Fire Commissioners, District 2; 21-02964, payable to Owen and Little Associates; 21-02979, payable to Carter Construction. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 21-02968, payable to Remington and Vernick Engineers. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Lotano.
I have to abstain from 21-03051 and 21-03249, payable to Holman, Verena, and Allison. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Roderick.
I have no conflicts. I am voting no to 21-02965 and 21-03054, payable to Dasty Murphy, Attorneys at Law.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Abstain to PO 21-02965 and 21-03054, payable to Dasty Murphy, Attorneys at Law, and PO 21-03244, payable to payroll item 99 and JMBC lease program. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Council President Gagan.
I just have one conflict as I'm a volunteer firefighter in Fire District 2, and that's purchase order 21-03269. Yes to the remaining balance.
Next, we have elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill?
20 years ago, the residents of Toms River passed a open space tax. Over those 20 years, we've purchased a number of properties. Several years ago, we had an issue on the ballot to increase that by a penny and a half, and that was defeated. However, there seems to be interest now expressed by a lot of the residents concerning overdevelopment. So I'm going to ask that the council consider putting on the ballot this year on increasing the open space tax so that we're able to purchase more open space. Presently, our account is pretty much down to not enough that we can purchase any large parcels. We've been working with the Ocean County Natural Land Trust to assist us in purchasing open space within Toms River. Need to have a willing seller. There's paperwork involved. We have to, recently, there was a parcel about 14 acres, northern part of town. I put the seller in touch with Mr. Mark Villanger, who does the Natural Lands Trust. He has submitted an application to them. Once that application is submitted, the Natural Lands Trust will review the property. If it meets their criteria, they then get an appraisal, they get an environmental survey, and they'll move forward with it. It's a little bit cumbersome. If we increased our open space tax, we would be able to go out and purchase it as a township, not have to rely on the county. We can also use more aggressive tactics if there are parcels that we want to actively pursue. The fact of the matter is, Councilman Turnback was correct last week. Virtually all of the multifamily development in the northern section of town is related to COA numbers that we were given in rounds 1, 2, and 3. It's 3,020. That's a number that was mandated by Trenton. We had no control over that. Everything that you see out in that section meets the needs of the mandate from Trenton. There'll be another round of COA in 2025, so we should be preparing for that, and I think we need to look aggressively at purchasing open space. On another note, I have announced tonight that our CFO, Alex Davidson, has submitted his resignation. He's accepted a position as CFO of Evesham Township. I got to say, Alex has been an invaluable member of the team in Toms River, particularly guiding us through the financial challenges of COVID-19. On behalf of everybody, I want to wish Alex all the best in his future. We've begun a search for his replacement. It's listed in the League of Municipalities. I'd also like to highlight, we had a police officer who was recently sworn in within the last 6 months. There was a very serious accident on June 16th on Route 70 and Whitesville Road. That's a dangerous corner. A car made a turn, hit a motorcyclist. His leg was severed. A Good Samaritan happened to be on scene, used his belt. Our officer, Bridget Vidalis, is one of our newest officers, arrived on scene, applied 2 tourniquets, was able to stop the victim from bleeding out and saved his life. And I've asked the chief to identify the Good Samaritan and anyone else who assisted and Officer Vidalis so that we can present them with a certificate at our next meeting. This was a life-saving event. This person would have bled out had the tourniquet not been applied. The belt was not sufficient. It was a good start, but in her kit she had a tourniquet, and she in fact had to apply a second tourniquet from the second officer who was on scene. So I want to get the data together, and I would ask the council to consider a proclamation citing their life-saving efforts. And that's all I have for today.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Roderick?
Well, I certainly would support Mayor Hill in increasing the open space tax. I think that's an excellent idea. People want to preserve more open space. They certainly don't want to see increased development. So I think that's a great idea. I'd like to commend him on that. As far as anything else for this evening, I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you. Councilman Locano?
Thank you, Council President. Today on the agenda, number 10 was the non-resident pool fees. I went out there, I saw the facility right after the last council meeting when some residents brought up their concerns. I spoke to some of the residents with Council President Gagan. This is the first piece. I think that after speaking to them, a possible dumpster enclosure, removing the dumpsters, and possibly saw cutting out some of the asphalt to be able to plant a couple trees there. It's not going to completely screen it, but it definitely could help. I have spoke to Mr. Trinkalian about that, and and we are going to work towards helping out the residents over there. The bid downtown Toms River. This is something I'm particularly happy about. June 30th, there's a movie in the park at Huddy Park. It's going to be The Goonies. It's a classic. I think that's going to be fantastic. We have the Farmers Market at 700 Main Street. It's been a huge success this year. A lot of people coming out. There's been a lot of different vendors that haven't been there in the past. It's been very, very good. Downtown Night Out, where they close the streets on Friday and Saturday, continues to be a huge success. We're averaging like 500 people at a time down there. It's been a great success, and we owe that all to the bid. They really they did that, and the county, the commissioners who approved things like that. It's been fantastic. Today we put together the cannabis committee. I'm interested in hearing the pros and the cons and suggestions from the residents, and hopefully we can make an informed decision that is best for our town. And Alex Davison, as the CFO, I'm sorry to see you go. You're a great asset, and I know you're going to help find the next CFO. So I really appreciate that. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hewitt?
So I'd just like to say that I am very sorry to hear that Mr. Davidson is leaving. He has been an incredible resource. I've done some presentations that he's provided incredible amounts of information for me, and he's always kept the township really running steady, kept taxes as low as we possibly can, just really working miracles, and I'm really sorry that you're leaving. So, and then I also would just like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, because we will not meet again until after the 4th. So I want to make sure everybody, have a happy and safe 4th of July. It's one of, the greatest holidays we have in this country, celebrating the day we declared our independence. And that's the foundation of what we're all here for. And it's also really meaningful for this area because we are a vacation destination, particularly Orly. It's just, we wish for good weather and health and happiness. And what a great year it's going to be after last year. So anyway, that's all I have tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Councilman Kopp.
Thank you, Council President. So I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July that's coming up. Be safe, but enjoy it. It's definitely a change in pace from last year, so hopefully everybody enjoys their 4th of July. I just want to say also, Alex, you'll be greatly missed. You're a great asset to this township. Hopefully you come downtown, spend a couple nights out. But like I said, best of luck for you in the future. That's all, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. Between last night and hopefully tonight, last night our intermediate school graduates, took the fields at our high schools for a big day for them, and hopefully our high school graduations are getting underway this evening. They were scheduled for, I believe, 7 o'clock. If not, they were going to move them to tomorrow morning. It's been a tough year for our students and our teachers, but they've come through that, and they have done a great job, and I'd just like to commend everyone that is graduate last night or graduating tonight. Hope their success on to high school, middle school, or college is all that they dreamed of, and shoot for the stars, because we do have awesome students and awesome teachers here in Toms River. Also, the 4th of July holiday will be upon us soon, and that's a big holiday for our beach areas. Also our parks. A lot of traffic on Route 37, crossing over into the bridge. Population sometimes almost doubles over in our beach areas, and even along the waterfront communities of Toms River, a lot of people have second homes. Our police department is extremely busy. I couldn't tell you how many fireworks calls they get, and if people could just be aware of the dangers, and please do not put yourself in danger, do not put your neighbors in danger, or even put our police department into that situation. Hopefully everyone will be respectful and just celebrate the birth of this great country. All the best to our police department. I know it's a trying weekend, especially our lifeguard staff and everyone over on our beach area. And also, Mr. Davidson, it's bittersweet. Excited that you're moving on to a new opportunity closer to your home and things of that nature, but sad for Toms River, because in the few years you have been here, you've done a remarkable job for us, and it has been under extremely extenuating circumstances. When COVID hit, all of our revenues plummeted. Nobody knew what any of our revenues were going to be it through our self-liquidating utilities, be it through our tax collection and our ratables that come in. And Alex had to be a magician that year. He had to come up with a budget that hopefully was going to get us through and make sure that we had the cash flow to do it. And he did it. And he worked hard with the mayor and the administration to come up with a 0% tax increase for this year on the municipal level. So he has done an outstanding job for the residents of Toms River, and I know he'll continue to do an outstanding job for the residents of the municipality he'll be moving on to. And that's all I have for this evening, but I just wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe 4th of July.
Thank you. Councilman Turnbull.
Thank you, Council President. I want to start by echoing the rest of the council's comments with regard to Alex, and thank him very much for all of his hard work and effort. And I can tell you, when you sit up here and you call upon Alex, you have an absolute level of comfort. That's what you provide all of us, because your knowledge in your field is remarkable. It's top-notch. And I can't thank you enough for the work that you've put in, and we wish you nothing but the best. Today I received a very good call from Paul Hulse, and Paul runs our Code Blue program, and that runs from November through March, but his organization, Just Believe, doesn't stop in March. They continue to work with the area homeless and with needs for both housing and food insecurity. And he sent me a message saying that an individual that had been going to the Code Blue day in, day out is now in permanent housing. So it's always nice to receive a call like that, and I want to acknowledge Paul Hulse and all the members of Just Believe, Inc., who day in and day out work to help the most needy in our community. And I had recently seen this individual just walking down Washington Street, and I knew he was doing good. His mental health was good when I was speaking to him, and I'm thrilled for that individual that he now has permanent housing. The last thing I want to address tonight is a bill that is presently in the Assembly and Senate. I'm going to ask the Township to consider drafting a resolution in support of the bill. New Jersey Assembly Bill A5864 allows law enforcement officers to review body-worn camera recordings prior to creating their initial reports. All of the police departments in the state of New Jersey have been mandated to move the body cameras. We've dealt with motor vehicle recordings in police cars for years. The Attorney General has now mandated every municipality has body-worn cameras. Every police officer has a body-worn camera. Our township will spend almost $1 million in the purchase of these cameras, even with grants that are coming in. And the present state of the law doesn't really make a lot of sense. It indicates that the police have to wear these cameras, but before they write their report, when they're involved in something, they're not allowed to review that camera. And as a defense attorney, I can tell you that makes absolutely no sense. We're paying for these things. At the end of the day, everybody wants justice, and people should be able to review what happened. And cameras don't deter facts. They just allow people to focus on what happened. Police are oftentimes involved in highly stressful situations. They're wearing these cameras for a reason. Everybody wants the truth. Everybody wants justice. Allow the police to review these cameras when they're writing their report. They're not going to frame what happened towards that. You're going to see what happened. And as someone that's dealt with the law and dealt with motor vehicle recordings, those recordings help the justice system completely. So I'm in support of this bill. I've spoken to the representatives of our Toms River PBA. They're very much in support of this bill. They're asking for our consideration and support in a resolution, and it's something that I think we should put forth. I know the Senate is considering this on Thursday, but I think if we can have this for our next meeting, showing support, showing our police department that we support what they're being mandated to do. So I'd ask for the council's consideration at our next council meeting. That's all I have.
Very good. Certainly, I would support that resolution as well. In the past, you could investigate a motor vehicle accident and have a person stand on each corner, and everybody sees something differently, and they swear, not that anybody's being deceitful, but everybody views something differently, and police certainly are no different in that. Again, I want to resonate again, Alex Davidson, you've been certainly an asset to this town, to our country. Thank you for your service, country and the town. Anytime I've called, I've learned a lot from you. You've had the information. You're confident, and you're going to be an asset wherever you go. Sorry to see you go here. Again, I would like to offer congratulations to Police Officer Bridget Badalis. She's also on my Silverton Fire Company. She did a great job as a new police officer, and that's probably one of the most graphic things she encountered as a young individual. It's certainly something that usually we don't see here, in the States. In addition to her, I know there were some EMTs from Hotzola that were on scene assisting her, and they jumped right in and helped out, and that's what it's all about. I do know there was an issue over recently in Ortley Beach where the same did not happen, and certainly we're disappointed by that. It was none of our officers or none of our agencies, but more on that later to come. I'd just like to wish everybody, again, a happy and safe 4th of July. I know everybody's been stir-crazy the past year, but just be safe. And that's all I have. At this point, we'll open it up for public comment. Any members of the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am. Step up if you would, state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Lori Singer. I live at 113 Garfield Avenue. I have a few questions regarding the Cannabis Committee. I'd like to know who were some of the decision makers on choosing some of the people that were chosen for the Cannabis Committee.
I'll let Councilwoman Hurek handle that, being that she really took the lead on that.
So we were gathering the resumes for several weeks. Actually, it was about 4 weeks, I think.
5.5.
5.5 weeks. I apologize. And then our assistant to the business administrator compiled a list for us and gave us all of the resumes. And then they were distributed to the members of the Land Use Committee, which is Council President Gagan, myself, and Councilman Kopp has to recuse himself because of his federal employment. So we had given some of the resumes to Councilman Latano, and we weren't sure, but they didn't render any opinions. So, and then this past Tuesday, prior to that, about a week and a half before, I typed up my opinions and submitted them to Council President. And then this past Tuesday, we discussed them with the full Land Use Committee. And President Gagan and I made the final decisions.
Okay. How many people are going to be members on that committee?
11.
11 people.
Yeah.
And how many applicants did you have?
I don't remember exactly how many applicants we had because they weren't, all 11 aren't, all the, can I?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, so all 11 aren't citizens necessarily. So we have 5 citizens from Tom's River, so they had to be from Tom's River. Then we also, and they're of varying opinions, so they expressed their opinions when they submitted their resumes. And then we also have a representative from the Toms River Police Department, one from the Ocean County Health Department, the SAC officer from Toms River School System, and then we also have, let's see, and then the 3 of us, so that's 6, 5, that's 11.
Okay.
And after that, it starts, that was, the original recommendation was to go with about 11, because after that, the committee is going to start getting a little unruly.
Sure.
So,
sure.
and then we also have some advisors that are listed to be, they're not going to be actually part of the committee, but they're there to answer questions about the finance of the business, the actual functioning of the business, medical and recreational, and who else was, there were a few, there was one horticulturist, actually, so really about the chemistry of the business.
Okay, great. Well, so when you guys will meet, is that going to be shared with the public? Can the public come in? And I know we're not voting members as the public, because I was an applicant, as some of you guys know, to be on the committee, so I was just curious as if the public can sit in on that, and what kind of requisites you were looking from the actual members of
don't see one.
of Tom's River. Because
Yeah.
I'd like to be, share my voice or my thoughts on that. I know that I'm not a committee member, but I do want to take part in that and learn and listen and hear what everybody else has to say, different
Right.
opinions and stuff, because everyone's opinion is valid. So I want to,
Absolutely.
so will that be known or posted somewhere where we can find out more information about the Cannabis
Yeah,
Committee when they're
imagine-
meeting?
We would post it on our website, for that. Usually the subcommittee meetings, when they meet for like budget and finance, capital projects, that's, generally done during the week when the professionals are here. This, there's a lot of members from the community, again, we're here all the time. Some of us are not always available, but, nights, weekends, maybe a Sunday morning, something like that would work. And I have no problem if people sit in. I'm
Yeah,
not afraid
I'd
of,
be
whatever
interested in
is said.
sitting in, because I was hoping to be on the committee, because I've been active with making my voice shared with
Yeah.
regarding the ordinances and looking for accessibility for recreational and medical users of cannabis. So I'd like to, take part in that in any way that I can.
And that was hard, trying to limit, the people
course. It was
before it
very
gets.
I understand, yeah.
Are you saying you are a resident and you wanted to be on the
Yes.
committee?
Yes, sir.
And you put in a resume?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I sent one
And
to
we
you,
have
too.
non-residents on this committee that
No,
are taking
we
the place
have
of this resident?
5
No.
residents
Don't let the
on the
truth get-
committee, 5 residents, and we have 3 council members, yourself included, so that makes 8. And then we have 3 additional members, one from the Toms River Police Department, one from the school system, and one from the Ocean County Health Department.
But we don't have Ms. Singer, right? Now, I don't agree with Ms. Singer, but she's here every meeting that we talk about this, and then lots of meetings that we don't talk about
It's
this.
actually how I
So-
met her in 2018.
Right, so
if you
like,
want
if
to know the
she
full
wants to
story.
be on the committee and she's a resident, I don't see why you would have a non-resident on the committee rather than a
What
resident.
non-resident are you talking about, Mr. Roderick?
You just said we had 5, right?
We have 5 residents
Okay.
that had to be from Toms River.
How many
3
people do we
council
have?
members who are also required to live in Toms River,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then a member of the police department. I don't know where Officer Jean lives, honestly.
Okay.
But he's our
I-
public
I get you.
relations
I understand
officer.
now. It's-
Ocean County Health Department,
we're not
I
sure of the
honestly don't know where she lives either, but
She just
she's
said she lives on Garfield Avenue, that's the block.
the Ocean County Health Department person,
No, Miss-
representative?
Oh, I thought you.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what happens when you're talking and can't listen.
And then the Toms River School representative does live in Brick, but she is the substance abuse counselor at Toms River Schools. And we thought she would be a valuable member, and she is actually opposed.
Well, Ms. Singer, I'm sorry.
Non-voting.
I didn't know I was going to be on it, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I sent to all the council
Yeah.
members, including you, and I believe the mayor, my resume, too. So it was available for
And I've
everyone to
also
see.
told anyone that I've spoken to that didn't get onto the committee that please share your opinions with me before, after, during the meetings. I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I'd
to
like to be
listen.
part of it if possible and sit on meetings. And I know because not being a committee member, I wouldn't be able to vote on anything, but I definitely have, I feel like have valuable input on that, so.
I know you have a lot of information.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other member of the public? Yes, sir, right in the second row. Mr. Mayor.
Name is Kenneth Gogren, 1204 Fellowship Court in Toms River. And there we go. First thing I wanted to say before I get into the nitty-gritty is Toms River Pride was last week. Excellent event. As I told Councilwoman Urick, it was a great event. It's getting bigger year by year, and I even said that usually every year I go to Asbury. I'm going to start going to Toms River because it was great. The response from residents was very family-friendly. They can bring their kids there. We had residents from Brick, Point Pleasant, Lakewood, down further south, Lacey, Barnegat. They were all coming up here. It was a great event. A job well done, especially by the Toms River Fire Department. They were out there cooking burgers and hot dogs all day, and all day long as usual, and they were
They
delicious.
supplied the bathrooms, too.
Yes, they did. It was a very good event. So just a job well done on that, and especially the Exit 82 Theater Company also, an excellent event. Now what I'm here to talk about, my usual stuff. There was a development last week in regards to marijuana legalization or dispensary legalizations in town. I also want to clarify before I say this is that South Toms River and Toms River are two separate towns. I noticed a lot of people didn't know that. South Toms River is going forward with dispensaries. I believe they have 2 in the pipeline right now, from what I understand. I believe they are going with the state recommendations, though, so they're going to let theirs. They're essentially going to allow the state rules to kick in. So what does that mean for us? What that means for us is that we're going to have a lot of people. First of all, South Toms River is going to be the first town borough in Ocean County to allow dispensaries. That means we're going to be having people from Lakewood, Point Pleasant, Brick, the Seasides, from down south also, Lacey, Barnegat, Manahawkin. They're all going to be coming up to South Toms River. Now, a lot of the times, they're going to have to, a lot of from Brick or the Seasides, they're either going to have to come through Toms River without spending a dime. Essentially, they're just coming through here because South Toms River is right over there. They have to come through town, and they don't have to spend a dime here, or they can even take the Garden State Parkway and bypass this entirely. And I really think, as I said 2 or 3 months ago, we have an opportunity right now to have them come to Toms River instead. And I don't know, and we had another gentleman a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. He was I believe he worked with the banking part of the cannabis industry. He said, the first people out of the gate are the ones who are you got to be the first out of the gate, essentially. And the reason for that is, I don't know about you guys, but I have a favorite bar I go to. I have a favorite restaurant I go to, and I prefer to go to Asbury. Nothing wrong with Seaside, but I just prefer to go to Asbury. And, going to Asbury all the time, I kind of fell in love with the bars there, and it's going to be the same thing here. You're going to have, if we're the first out of the gate, Toms River is very historic, very historic, very beautiful. We have Huddy Park. You want people, if people come here, I think that aside from just purchasing marijuana, I think they're going to fall in love with the town. And I do think that'll help us. It'll help other local businesses. And I think it will be a good thing for the town. I think I'm running out of time, so that's all for this week, but thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Any other members? Yes, ma'am. All right. Good evening. Dear.
Good evening, Laura Marino Cole from 1940 Merrimack, representing Snug Harbor. First, I'd like to thank the council for the unanimous and swift agreement for our resolution. We really appreciate everybody making this a priority for us. It meant so much. We did have a couple of issues that we wanted to address. You know how at the beach, somebody comes every day and cleans up after the beachgoers because it's public? We don't have that at the pool. They leave, and we're left with the trash. So we're asking if there's something could be done either by maintenance for the town, or somebody asked the pool to do it, because the first weekend it was opened, and we took pictures, it's a mess. We have all kinds of garbage being left in our driveways, in the streets, and at the parking lot. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, this very well may solve the problem, raising the fee, but it might not. So we would love to, maybe table that part of it and see what happens, but we would love to be able to revisit it if that's not the answer, because we don't know what's going to happen with, a couple of dollars more being asked of non-residents. So we just ask that that be something to consider. Some of the other scenarios, like maybe moving the entrance was a good idea, and just leaving that open for discussion.
Absolutely.
Diane Oxley, 1944 Merrimack Drive. This past weekend, when we opened, we noticed that there were police that did come randomly on the first day when the parking lot was half full. And that's fine. They were there at 3 o'clock. They did come. They were checking it out. Randomly, they come through. But I really think that you need to take a second look at having a policeman on the weekends. We are going into the summer now. This is when we have the issues with the pool. The weekends, out-of-towners. During this whole week when it opened, we noticed all New Jersey plates, and they were locals. And you know what? There wasn't anything that happened other than garbage being left. It was quiet. It was peaceful. What's going to happen now once Island Beach State Park closes? For some reason, we get all the out-of-towners. This is when we have the issues on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. So I am asking you to consider at least having the police around on Saturday between 3 and 6 when they're leaving. They get very rowdy. I don't know if there's alcohol involved and the coolers coming in. We don't know. It's not checked. You have young kids at the door. We don't know. But by the time they're leaving at night, there are issues. So what I'm asking is to just please consider or have the police coming through on the weekends at that time. I know we have park police that can come through, just to make it safe for us. We just don't want something to happen to our children in that neighborhood or to the residents. That's what we're fearful of. Everything going on in this crazy world, we don't want to bring it here to our town. We really don't. Thank you.
Thank you for the input. Okay. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am, with the blonde hair in the middle there. Yeah, this mic is just terrible. Yes.
Hello, I'm Susan from 354 Dallas Drive, Toms River. Hi, Council. Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Susan, your last name?
Carney, Kearney. Hello, Council and Mr. Mayor. This is a follow-up to our last request to pull the contract with the USDA Wildlife Services that will round up and then gas our beautiful Canadian geese. I do want to thank Councilman Hurok and Councilman Latano for taking a meeting this Thursday in regards to this. As we have mentioned to you in several phone calls and meetings, there are many effective non-lethal humane measures to control our geese population, which has dwindled down. Many towns like Sayreville and Denville just recently adopted humane measures and canceled the lethal contract with the USDA. We are out of time. The geese will be rounded up in the next few days. So, this is not going to be boring. We're just going to play it real fast.
Up in suburban parks and gassed to death. Tonight, animal rights activists are demanding give geese a chance. New Jersey reporter Pat Bowell picks up the story. Just before 7 o'clock this morning, Chopper 4 hovered over Echo Lake Park in Mountainside, New Jersey, and captured the pictures that Union County officials did not want the public to see. Workers for the U.S. Department of Agriculture rounded up dozens of Canada geese, put them into the back of a specialized truck, and gassed them until they stopped breathing.
It's not a popular decision, but we believe that it might be the only effective means available to us.
This park and 5 others spanning nearly 500 acres in Union County.
So I just wanted to give you like an idea of what it's like, of what, them gassing up the geese, what these animals go through. They throw them in a box. It's a gas chamber on the back of the box. And the public doesn't know about it because they do it in the middle of the night. Yeah, and they round them up. It's horrible. So I know I told you last time, but I just wanted to remind you about it. So, but thank you for taking the meeting for Thursday. We appreciate it so much. Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Patty Lane. I've lived in Toms River since 1992.
What's your address, ma'am?
15 Chestnut Hill Drive.
Okay.
And I also oppose the gassing of the geese.
Hi, how are you? My name is Nicholas Huss. I live at 14 Overbrook Road, Somerset, New Jersey, 08873. And my quick letter to you guys today is similar to Susan's. So start out, first and foremost, a big thank you to councilmen and women Matthew Latano and Laura Herc. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your last names right, for responding to my email regarding the geese calling at Huddy Park. Thank you, Mayor Hill, for scheduling a meeting with Doreen Fraga of the Animal Protection League. The goal of this meeting was to schedule for Thursday, June 24th at 12 noon, is to discuss non-lethal ways of deterring migratory birds, which will essentially save animal lives and the taxpayers of Toms River a substantial amount of money in the long haul. I'm here today repeating the issue in hopes that the other 6 council members could get involved with this week's up-and-coming Zoom meeting if at all possible. I sent out emails to each person on the council and have only heard back from 2. I know for many of you, you have separate jobs outside of your role as council, so I'm here to serve as a gentle reminder in saying if your schedule is open for Thursday, June 24th at 12 p.m., please attend. Everything is done online, so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the meeting from the comfort of your home or workplace via online. Thank you, and I hope to see everyone there.
Thank you. Although, thank you for the invite. Unfortunately, with the laws the way they are, all of us can't be on the same meeting. This is the only, meeting that we're all allowed to be at. Otherwise, it violates the Sunshine Law. But Councilman Hurek and Councilwoman Hurek and Councilman Latano are on it. Frequently, 2 or 3 of us will meet with different residents and all and bring that information back. But thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Geraldine Lucas, and I live at 20 Alera Drive, Holiday City, Silverton. Okay, I have been here before about my neighbors, Miriam Rip at 24. Idleness is evilness, and it certainly shows up in these retirement communities because the people next door have a criminal record. And I worked election day on the election board, and I came home, and all my locks were open, okay? And one of my neighbors said they use a card that can go right in and open the lock. I have 5 locks on my door. I had a $300 lock put in by Arrow in Lakewood. And I think that's what I left on tonight when I came here, just the lock from the Arrow. I said, what's the point in locking all the other doors, locking all the other locks, if they can get in with sliding a card? Now, I'm not educated in that field, criminal field, but I do feel that these people, they not only steal, they stole some other things I won't mention, but they also steal the full food, and they put kitty litter in the toilet bowl, okay? Which, they're voodoo people. That's all I can see. They're voodoo people, and they're evil people. They're not positive. They're negative in every sense. I'm very positive. So the thing is, the last people, they might be relative of the last people who were living there, the Vegas. And Angel Vega used to work at Jersey Shore Hospital, and he would serve food to the sick patients and then find out where they lived and rob them. The Long Branch police were looking for him. I did an investigation because I'm 79, and Angel Vega raised his fist to me one day, and he said, wait a minute, something is wrong here. And I called all the police departments, and Long Branch police were looking for him for robbing patients. He finds out where they live, and then while they're in the hospital, he goes and he robs them to their home. So this is what happened. But I think these people are related, either because they're voodoo or because they're related in other ways. But they came up from Florida, this Miriam Rip. But it's a continual thing, and I have to go for some surgery soon. And I don't want to have to come home and be missing any more things. Food, and I can't afford to keep replacing my dryer. They put a glove in the dryer. I had to repair that. One of my refrigerators, fortunately I have 2 refrigerators, and my new refrigerator was broken by them. They came in looking for money. They go through everything. They're professional thieves, okay? They look behind pictures. They look in the refrigerator. They look everywhere. They know where to look for money. I don't have any more money there. I don't keep a checking account either because of that reason. You know, I used to have checks in my house. I don't anymore. I lost like $1,000. So what I'm trying to say, these are professional criminals. And also, I was talking to somebody from another development who said that everybody that moves into a community should have a criminal background check. I don't believe these people did, and the ones before. So another thing I'm saying that I think there's some commingling with the clubhouse. I think they're taking money from the residents. That's what I think, and I think they're using me because I spoke up at a meeting, not just for me, for the other residents. Most of the women there are without husbands, so they have no one to speak up for them.
What happens when you call the police, ma'am?
Well, I called the police several times. I don't want to do them anymore because I think some of them are involved in this crime. And, you know, they have signs all over, we support the police. Sure they do. But I don't know if they're all honest because in my dealings, you know, it's like anything else. There's good and bad in everybody. When I called the police and they came, they said, well, how did they break in? Well, if I knew, how would I know? So now I put barbed wires on all of my windows and my doors. You know why? I want to see how they broke in. So the next time I call the police, I'll know how they get in. But I think it's the door. I think it's the door. And as I said, I'm going for some surgeries, and I don't want to have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to ever worried about. I'm worried about where to put my papers, hide this and that, hide that. I have to repair my refrigerator. They were in one election day when I was working on the board of, and I came home and my refrigerator was pushed out. The one that works, it was pushed away from the wall. I'm thinking either they were looking for, maybe I put money in the back, or they wanted to disconnect the refrigerator. So I live in constant fear.
Okay, thank you.
And I really would like the township to look into the the clubhouse.
Ma'am.
I owe them dues, but they owe me money too. They should have never allowed these people in there without a criminal background check.
Councilman Roderick has something for you.
I just, you had said your refrigerator isn't working. Do you have food right now?
I'm sorry?
You said your refrigerator isn't working. Do you have food right now?
I have what?
You said your refrigerator isn't working. Do you have food, or do you need food? Are you okay, or?
Do I have proof?
No, food. Food, do you have?
No,
you said your refrigerator isn't working. Do you have food?
I have 2 refrigerators. Fortunately, I have 2.
Okay.
All right, the first one is a brand new one I got from the township, in fact, and that was disconnected. My dryer, they stuck I had the man come over, they stuck a glove in the dryer, so it wouldn't work. I mean, I was raised in a very frugal home, and my mother showed me, you know, always check the filter. I don't destroy things. I'm very careful about everything that I have, you know, and I was raised in a frugal home. Okay. So I never throw out food, you know, I use the food that I have. I don't believe in wasting things. Okay. But in any event, I think that you should really check the clubhouse, because I think there's some money. The reason why they're picking on me, I went to one of the meetings, and I spoke up about everybody having a criminal background check, and then when I left the meeting, somebody from the committee made a statement as they were passing by in the car. So I think there's some kind of funny stuff going on with the dues from the people.
All right, thank you.
And I really would like somebody to investigate this.
Okay, we'll,
It's
we'll notify-
phase one,
Yeah.
phase one. Holiday said he
We'll-
still
we'll-
attend.
We'll notify the police on your behalf.
Yeah, but
all
they
right?
have wall signs all over. We support the police,
Okay.
you know. Okay,
All right.
that's about it. Thank you very much,
Thanks
and
very
and nice seeing you. Have a nice evening.
All righty, you too. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am, you in the front?
Elizabeth Puglisi. My current address is 7B Westlake Drive in Manchester. I wanted to thank the council and the mayor for addressing Snug Harbor Pool. I actually spoke with my aunt before I came to this council meeting, who is a resident of Toms River. My uncle served in the prosecutor's office in Toms River for many years, and I think at the last meeting I did say that I took swimming lessons there with my cousins. It was a private community pool. I don't understand why we can't implement that today. Why is it open to everyone?
Yes, it used to be a private pool owned by Snug Harbor, and sometime in the 70s, I believe.
80s and 90s. I'm 43 years old.
The township leased that with an option to purchase in 1975, and the township purchased it in 1977.
Okay.
But it was purchased with Green Acres money, so we're required by law to have public access. It's not a private facility anymore, it's a public facility that has.
And you're saying it was in the 70s. When I was going to swimming lessons there, we had to show, my aunt and my mother had to show ID that they were residents. So I hear what you're saying, but I wanted to question that because I had that conversation with her today.
Well,
So
I was 5 years old in the early 1980s, so I really can't speak to what was going on then.
I'm only
but I
telling you that because I
can
took
tell you.
swimming lessons there.
Right, well, that may be true. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on back
So-
then, but I can tell you now, the law is that it is a state-funded facility. It was acquired with state funds in 1977, so public access is required.
And that
We can
means
have it-
out-of-state access as well?
Yes. Well, I mean, we can't, I mean, how would we know whether somebody is out of state or not?
Driver's license.
Well, true, but they could be a guest of a resident. We are allowed to impose a fee differential under the Green Acres regulations. Beyond that, it's difficult to limit your facility when it's acquired with public funds.
I just have one other question. Would we be allowed to just have memberships? You could be in-state, out-of-state, in the neighborhood, out of the neighborhood, but couldn't we just eliminate the daily rate and go to a membership only? As long as we weren't...
No, the regulations require
Daily?
daily access. Yes.
Well, you could have daily access, you just would have to pay for more, for the entire time. You'd still have daily access, right?
No, but I mean, you have to, if you establish a seasonal rate, you also have to have a daily rate.
When we implement regulations in our community, it brings up the morale, it brings up the amount of the people that are going to come into our community and utilize these facilities. So those are good options because, we want to protect the members of the community in regard to that. So I just wanted to know in what areas, can we...
Well, you're
as-
allowed to within reason, so you're allowed to have a fee differential between
Okay.
residents and non-residents. But that differential, one, cannot be so great as
Right.
to impose a disincentive and can't be more than double.
And as far as what Councilman Roderick said about membership, that's not something that they can look
No,
into?
the regulations say that
It
if
has
you're
to
going to
be open.
establish a seasonal, if you're going to have a seasonal rate, you also have to have a daily rate.
Are we allowed to give the state back their money?
40 years later, no, that's not going to happen. It's funded on our Rossi list. Once it's on the Rossi list, it stays there.
Okay. I just wanted to, bring forth those questions in regard to that. I also wanted to, just briefly about the legalizing, the cultivation, the distribution of medical marijuana. I am temporarily, seasonally working over in Seaside Heights, and I'm working on the children's rides. And I look up at a bar where there's a lot of young people partying over the weekend, and I've been watching this for the past 3 weeks. Not all of these children are of the age of 21 years old, and they are partying. They are dropping garbage onto the boardwalk. There are little children within a minimal amount of feet in the ride area playing with their families, and these young adults are in their bathing suits, loud music playing, profanity. So I think that's something to take into consideration when we're going to legalize substances in our community that alter mental stability. And if you wanted to come and observe that at any given moment, come down to the boardwalk and stand in front of the Aztec bar for a couple hours and watch what the youth and the young adults are doing when they're under the influence. The third topic I wanted to discuss, and I'm just going to be brief.
Go ahead, you can.
I'm just going to be brief on this.
Thank
you. There are many organizations that help out our homeless and our needy. And I can tell you that I myself found myself homeless 2 Decembers ago. The Catholic churches helped support me. House of Hope helped support me. So I am in agreement with you, Councilman Turnbach, in regard to Just Believe, but there are many other organizations and facilities that deserve recognition. Okay?
I promise you, I give them, I'm a trustee for the House of Hope. I'm a trustee for Habitat for Humanity. So
okay.
I do recognize all those organizations, and I participate in all of them.
The
It's the call I got today.
The Catholic churches began housing homeless way before Just Believe was established.
Sure.
And unfortunately, that right was taken. Along the lines, things changed within the Catholic Church, and they no longer provided certain things with regard to housing the homeless in home. Different things changed. But I just wanted to say that the Catholic Church, St. Joseph's, assisted me. There are many, many other organizations.
I work with Rosemary from St. Joe's
And
weekly.
I know her very well.
Yes.
I know her very well. So not only was I someone in need, but after I was someone in need, I was able to advocate. So I also wanted to say that there are people out there advocating for other homeless people that are not part of organizations either. You have many people who are not promoting the fact that they do those things, but let me reassure you, they are.
Please
They
don't
are.
mistake my compliment to them
I-
is not to
I-
detract from any
I
other
understand
organization that helps the homeless.
I understand that. I just wanted to add to that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Very
thank-
good. Thank you very much.
Actually, I just wanted to comment, because Councilman Turnbach is part of the Toms River Housing and Homeless Coalition, which St. Joe's and St. Luke's both have representatives on that committee. We meet once a month, usually. The last month or so has been a little rocky because my schedule's been not great. But we also have, Rosemary's on that committee as well. We also have the Holy Cross Lutheran Church. We have B'nai Israel. We have about 40 people on our
Right,
list
right.
that we email out
Right.
to, and about 15 to 20 people that pretty consistently show up. And we've all been working as a coalition, and that's actually how we met Paul. He was part of that
I'm thankful for
coalition.
that. I'm
So
thankful for
just so
that.
you know,
I'm
we
thank-
know.
I'm thankful
yeah,
for that. I
yeah.
just wanted to make aware that there are people out there doing that because, we don't monopolize things like that. There's many people out there doing those things, and
And that's
I
why
want to
I'm telling you,
recognize
'cause
them, and I want to
we are part of that.
Right. Well,
So,
okay,
yeah,
so First
totally.
Assembly of God has also assisted, and.
Oh, yeah,
So there-
absolutely. Pastor Paul.
Right,
Mhm.
so, and, so
know him
I.
well.
listen,
And St. Andrews.
I'm someone who was in the element, and I'm someone advocating for it, so I just wanted to bring that up.
I appreciate it. and
I appreciate
I
that.
see the work you do over at the Assembly of God with the food
Right.
distribution. I'm the one there on Fridays, seeing you there.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
Thank
as
you for
well.
your time.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for your
much.
time. Thank you.
All right. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am. If you would, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Lorraine Harwellick, 605 Vision Avenue, Toms River. I have actually two questions, not comments. The first question has to do with the Green Acres plans, and the second question has to do with the cannabis dispensaries, stores, whatever you want to call them. The first one, how does this Green Acres, it sounds very nice, but how does the Green Acres plan come about? The way I understand it, we have a municipality and a community, and something happens where money comes from the state, and then it's used to implant something within a community, okay? I'd like to know how that comes about. Who decides this? Is the community allowed to vote on it and decide?
I'll have Mr. Merlino answer that, as he's a lot more aware of that.
Who?
Mr. Merlino, our township attorney.
Green Acres is a program run through the State Department of Environmental Protection, and it provides money for the acquisition of open space for conservation or recreation conservation or recreation purposes. Municipalities can apply for money through the Green Acres program if they have a piece of property in their community that they want funding to acquire, either as a park, playground, pool, or just passive open space, just to keep it natural. And once you apply for that, and there's a whole complex application process that you have to go through, once municipalities apply for that,
Well, you
and are
say
granted-
you mean the town, or an
Yeah,
individual
the
group,
municipality.
like a
The
committee
Green
or
Acres
something?
program is open to two groups. It's open to governmental entities like municipalities and counties, and it's also open to nonprofit organizations. When they apply for money, if they're granted that money to purchase property, then they have to abide by all of the Green Acres regulations that go with that.
And those Green Acre reservation, regulations supersede the municipal regulations?
That's correct, yeah, because
And
the state is
who
a higher level
makes
of
the
government.
decision if a body of land is going to be purchased once you get the Green Acres? I mean,
The municipality.
wait. Let me ask the question, because you sort of kind of circumvented it. To put it bluntly, how much say does the community, a specific area, like I'm in Windsor Park, we have Snug Harbor, we have Alder, how much say do the people who live in those communities have with the Green Acres plan?
The governing body of a municipality, or if it's a nonprofit organization, whatever governing body of that organization makes the decision to apply for the Green Acres funds. The state makes the decision whether to grant those funds.
How much authority does the individual residents as a group collectively have?
There's no public vote on an application.
I
to
see.
Green
So
Acres.
a specific area is, if you get the Green Acres funding, the residents have no say.
A lot of times it's the residents that bring stuff to us.
Yeah.
That
Well,
they'd like to see
okay,
it,
so then
you
you
know.
do have a
So,
say.
but
Your
homeowner
say-
groups are
no,
advocating.
I think the question,
But just
your
say
say
yes
is
or
through your elected representatives.
Okay.
Council President, can I give an example?
Sure.
Yes.
That's
One of the examples I can give you is Ortley Beach. There's been the surf club property that was destroyed at Sandy. They walked away from it. They're not rebuilding on that. And the residents of Ortley Beach have advocated to use that, to purchase that property. With that, since it's waterfront, it's considered Blue Acres. But there's also a parking lot across the street, which is vacant. So they have advocated that we purchase that with Green Acres. This was something they had brought to the governing body quite a few years ago, because we've been working on this, I would say, for the past 4 or 5 years. So sometimes it starts out within the community itself. It's
Okay, I
brought to-
understand that,
It's
but
brought to the
if
governing body
suppose-
by the residents.
All right, let me word it a different way, maybe put it very simply. If you were to, the governing body, were to decide to put something in Windsor Park, because once you take money from the state, you're abiding by their rules. And suppose we got together and decided, this isn't going to be good for us. Okay, do we have a say, is what I want to know. Do you hear us? And do you say, well,
Yeah, I was going to say,
May
in
I
all of
continue?
our Green Acres purchases, I mean, there has been dialogue back and forth with the residents,
Oh,
whether
okay.
it
So
be-
in other words,
and
the
let me-
residents can give their input,
They
and
always give their
it would
input.
mean something.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. And I'll give you
All right.
another example.
Then that, you answered the
Back in, I want to
question.
say, it was
Because
about
I don't want to keep
2006.
taking up I have another question.
Back
Yeah.
in 2006, there was a large group that was vocal about land along Fisher Boulevard and Hooper Avenue, known as the Jam Real Estate Property, and those acres were purchased as a joint ownership with Ocean County, their lands trust, Toms River Schools, and with the municipality of Toms River. And that was precipitated by the residents, and one of the residents was a resident of Snug Harbor, Frank Kenny at the time, who owns Ken's Hardware. But he was an advocate for that, and we were able to purchase those properties
And
with
they-
Green Acres funding.
Okay, all right.
We just met with a group prior to this meeting, myself, Councilman Latano, Councilman Turnbuck, regarding a park in town that has been on the books, so to speak, long before I got here, and the residents don't want it. So we heard them out, and, we'll make changes. It's as simple as that.
You'll make changes, so in other words, but you're still taking the Green Acres money?
This was another issue, but we actively go out and meet with the homeowners groups. I can't say that for every council person, but we actively go out and seek their opinions. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
All right?
Just, that's all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
As far as the second question, it can wait.
All right, thank you very much. Does any other member of the council have anything they would like to discuss?
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second. Motion to go into executive session?
Sorry.
There will be no executive session.
Okay.
No need for that, so.
All in
Motion-
favor to close public comment?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
You need a motion to close public comment first.
She did that.
We did. I made the motion.
Made by Maria, seconded by Lori.
By Lori.
Okay.
You need us to do it again?
Well, no, you said close the meeting.
She made a motion to close public comment. I seconded. We all said aye.
And then.
Then I made a
the clerk
motion
asked
to
for a motion to
close the meeting.
Seconded by Maria.
Did,
So,
Does she need to do a roll call?
do you need a roll call on that?
Yes.
Close the meeting?
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
All in
Aye.
favor, closing
Aye.
the meeting? Aye. She's just a Robert. Right? That was unusual. I was not expecting the public comment go longer than the meeting.
I know.
Yes, and Mike is up in Lakewood, so.
Hey, how are you?
I'm gonna take care of it.
I'm sorry? Take care of what?
How you been, okay?
I remember. Yeah, I know. I remember that because I knew that was.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You're going to be missed.
Yeah, don't worry, we still have your number.
That's what I told the mayor.
Are you kidding? The exit interview, what's your cell? Where do you live? No.
Make sure you find us something. Make sure you find us someone good.
Well, you know what? We trust you because Sharon found us you.
Yep.
And we yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll try to hear everybody.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
I sat in on your hand.
I'm still here for 4 weeks if you guys need anything. Yeah, if you guys need anything.
Thank you.
It's my job.
ready, detailed, and like, incredible.
You're the only person that wants an accountant.